Success is when you are able to sleep well. Success is when you are healthy. Success is when you are able to do it the right way. And success is when you have respect and you have enough resources to be able to contribute to other people's life.
A very good afternoon. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Anurag Batra, who needs no introduction. He's a serial entrepreneur, media mogul, journalist, and an eternal optimist rolled into one. He's a BTech in computer science and MBA from MDI, who is the first generation entrepreneur. Mr. Batra founded the Exchange for Media Group, India's leading media industry website. A few years back, he also acquired the iconic business magazine brand called Business World, and he had transformed this brand significantly. He needs no introduction. So without much introduction about himself, I will jump onto this interview directly. A very good afternoon, Mr. Batra, and welcome to my show.
You're being very kind in your introduction, and I'm grateful that you are doing this.
Yeah, thank you so much. I remember for my book launch, Celebrate Your Wings, you are the person who came for my book launch. So you are very special, and my iconic figure too. So, Mr. Batra, my first question to you, how do you become born optimist?
I genuinely believe there is a solution. I believe there is a higher power to the universe, and I try and find solutions. Action is one way of being able to find solutions to any issue. If we have a firm resolve, if we have good intent, and we take the right action. So I am optimistic because I believe there is a higher power. I believe in the power of intent. I believe sooner or later things will become perfect. So optimism. Also, optimism is, if you're optimistic about something, you'll actually end up doing it. If you are able to visualize that you can cross the street, then you will be able to cross the street, even in a busy street, But if you're hesitant and you're not sure, even in an empty street, you may take time to cross. So it's really about your belief system. I really believe whatever happens for good. So there must be some learning, take the learning. But I always believe that tomorrow can be better, will be better. It depends on what you do today. So if you're wired to think optimistically, if you're wired to be positive, if you're wired, then you can actually make that switch of making a difference, achieving your dreams. So I don't think there is a choice that we have. In times that we live in, last year has been tough for a lot of people. In the last 3-4 days especially, a lot of my friends from MDI, from my office, called me for helping beds, and I made calls to my friends who are doctors or in hospitals, and really, there is a grim situation, and it does play on everyone's mind. But the only way to deal with it is to take action, to keep trying. So being optimist is, I don't think you have a choice. In these times, to be resilient, you also have to be optimistic.
Very well articulated. I think the intent of doing something better tomorrow, the willingness to help others, and be with the right and start doing it. I think that message came so clearly, absolutely. Thanks so much for that answer. I always wanted to know that, coming from not a business background, what motivated you to jump onto this entrepreneurial journey? That would be a nice story to hear.
I just want to say that as far as I'm a serendipitous entrepreneur, or I call it accidental, I don't like the word accidental. So, I didn't plan to be an entrepreneur, it happened. So, in my case, the company I used to work for shut down, and I did not have a job, so I was ideating with my friends to start something in 2000. And then the idea of Exchange for Media came about, where we wanted to build a marketplace, a B2B marketplace, a business-to-business marketplace, to be able to build an ecosystem where buying and selling of media time and space happens. So, I asked a friend for help on the legal side, and he was a lawyer, and he said, "Why don't you take the money from me?" So it happened rapidly, and God had a plan. So, but I have to tell you a funny story, Sangeeta. when I was younger, about 12 to 15, my mom would take me to astrologer, take me and my older sister, 4 years older to me, to astrologer. I must be 12. Okay. And the astrologer would say that your son will be an illustrious, he'll be a big business person. So I used to tell my mom they want money from you, that's why they tell you all the good thing. So, I have not had a grand plan in terms of being an entrepreneur. I know the environment that we are in. There are lots of opportunities to be entrepreneurs. There's a lot of funding available. There's also a support system. There are incubators, there are accelerators. So the environment in the last 2 decades is much more conducive to being an entrepreneur. In my case, I did not learn an entrepreneur because of a plan. It serendipitously happened. A lot of things came together and we just kept doing things and one thing led to another. So that's how it happened. In my case, there was no plan.
That's wonderful. Serendipity and everything fell in place when you wanted to jump onto it. I think that is the direction which your heart gives you.
And Sangeeta, again, for the first 3.5 years of our existence as Exchange Media, we were trying to build a B2B marketplace. Right. And we failed at that. We didn't get into Exchange Media to build up content in a media company. But that's what we became. Then, we built around that media company. So clearly, as they say, as you move forward on the path appears. So really, you got to keep moving forward. That's what is important. And then ideas come. People come to you with ideas. People come to you with suggestions. So really, once you're in the play, magic happens.
Very, very rightly said. Once you're on the stage, everything comes on play, and once you're on the play, magic happens. Absolutely. I would love to know, Anurag, how do you handle failures? I know you have lost everything, rebuilt from the scratch.
No, I wouldn't say I've lost, but I'll tell you, Exchange Media was easy because we built it from scratch, so the culture was easy. We handpicked everyone that we hired, new business model, and it has been impactful in its space. The number one website on marketing advertising media, and then we built B2B events around it. We built, editorial products to make an impact. Because we're a media company, we're a content company, we're an editorial company. Events are built around the editorial product. The reason we are editorially strong is because we focus on being a product that makes an editorial impact, and then rest is built around it. However, when I acquired Business World, I raised capital. It was not that easy. It's a company that existed for almost 34 years, and last 6-7 years I've been at it to build something special. And along the way, there were lots of failures, and I believe that a person never fails, an idea fails, a project fails, an initiative fails. So in between, some initiatives fail, but you got to stay focused, you got to keep making efforts, and at some stage those efforts will get rewarded. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. If your intent is good, if your efforts are consistent, then you can come out of failure. And failure is about learning. What you learn, what you could have done right. But I must also say philosophically, when the universe aligns with your thoughts, and the universe does, and when the God wishes to give you something, and I'm very philosophical, I'm like this, I really mean it, and it happens. It's the same person, same efforts, then things change. But you got to be in the play, and you got to keep making efforts, you got to keep doing what you got to do, and you got to believe that you will be able to do it perfectly at some stage. So really, your first point of being optimist comes into a play. I always believe that it is possible, and the reason I was feeling little, I won't use the word upset, but I was a little worried about my friends and everyone around me because of COVID, because I made too many calls for beds. I was not getting beds. So really, but I still continue to make efforts because you never know when those efforts fructify. So you got to treat failure as a part of a journey. As I said, the idea fails, the project fails, and at some stage, if your intent is good, your efforts are consistent, you will be able to build a perfect business model around what you started. You'll be able to build an impactful business. You'll be able to build a profitable business. Or whatever your dream is, you're painting and you're not.
Yeah, what can be better example? I, being a normal human being, I wanted to really host some 13 most powerful people who has inspired my life, including you. And I reached out and everybody accepted. That was something like the intent of the universe. If you really intend to do something, universe actually does help you. And I've seen your TED Talk. How you said that how you have helped people and how universe kind of given it back in multiplier effect. It's not that you want something back, that's why you're doing it. You're genuinely doing it because by doing this, you might lift somebody to the next step. And
you feel good. When you do something good, you do it for yourself. Because you feel good about the what is human life? I mean, what will you do with more money, bigger house, whatever? You ought to have great health, first of all.
Absolutely.
I think that's the most important. Second, you ought to have peace of mind. This comes from having sync between your thoughts, actions, and your prayers. Thoughts, prayers, and actions. So, and third is you do need money, but money is not the most important thing in life. It is an important thing, and when it needs to come to you, it will come to you. But what is very important is to make an impact to whatever you do.
Absolutely. As you said, now your energy, what you percolate down to the world, it's sort of, it's so infectious. The gratefulness, the gratitude you carry, the helping nature, it's so infectious. Good people kind of gives that vibe around it. And that's what matters the most. My next question to you, what is the key requisite for being successful? As my show talks about Success Sutra with Sangeeta. So I would like to know, what has been your success formula?
First of all, I have a long way to being successful. I may have been successful. Everyone's definition of success is different. Your success sutra is very personal to you. My success sutra is very personal. But I'll tell you, everyone must make their own definition of success. And again, success at what cost? I love what I do, so I work 12, 14 hours. But I also sleep 8 hours. I also have a family. I do give time to them, right? They allow me to work, but it's not that, my definition of success can be very different. For example, my definition of success is to be able to sleep at least 8 hours in the night. Peace of mind, very important. For me, success is if I can spend more time with my parents, with my wife and children. And I love my work, and I give a lot of time to my work. I'm not, for me, success is being able to keep all my commitments. I still have a long way to go. A lot of people ask me, why do I work hard? I tell them because I have lots of commitments, financial commitments to keep, commitments to keep to my colleagues. Also I have dreams. It depends on what dreams you have. I want to build something that outlasts me. I want to build something that makes an impact. Yesterday we did our Women Entrepreneurship Summit and Award in Business World. We started it 3 years back. The jury process was so enjoyable. The kind of people we met, and I have a 17-year-old daughter who wants to be an entrepreneur. So success definition is everyone's success definition. Also, when I can free up time, I love to read, I don't read books. I'm doing this from this room. If I was in my study, you'll see I have piles and piles of books which I haven't read. I've read some books, but I'd like to read a lot. I like to write. I'm not able to do that. My job is very administrative. I have to raise capital. I have to manage cash flows. I also lead the company along with two of my senior colleagues. So, for me, definition of success is four-pronged, if I may sum up. My first is, the fact is, great health. I think it was very important earlier, and both mental and physical health. Second is peace of mind, which manifests in good quality sleep. Third is respect for what I do. At least I should respect what I do in my actions. And fourth, I would say, be able to make difference in other people's lives through your time, through your efforts, through your wealth, your money, through your connection. Freeing up my time is also very important.
Yes.
If I can free up my time, I can do a lot more things. So, to be able to free up my time and money is very important. But going back to something that I keep saying in all my conversations, good quality sleep is the most important thing to be happy,
Absolutely.
to be healthy, and to be also productive at work in whatever you do. Success is very individualistic, and at what cost? But if you love your work, that's okay. It's better than life is a trade-off. You can watch another movie or you can work. I choose to work because I love watching movies. I remember on 30th and 31st of December 2019, as we were ushering into 2020, I watched two movies. I watched a movie called The Two Popes, and my people who are around me. When I'm watching a movie, I'm fully into the movie. I'm like, okay, last night I finished my event at about 8:10, and I switched on TV. I wanted to relax with lots of thoughts in my mind, and I saw this movie called The Hustle. Was coming. It was such a funny movie about two con artists, and it just made me laugh. I was laughing, having a good time, just interacting, being at the moment. So I'd like to make time for things that I'd like to do: to read a lot, to write a lot, to make time for my family, to make time for my friends. I'd like to do it. So success is very individual.
Absolutely.
But in my definition is to be able to make time. Success is when you're able to make time for things and people that you must. Success is when you're able to sleep well. Success is when you're healthy. Success is when you're able to do it the right way. And success is when you have respect and you have enough resources to be able to contribute to other people's life. Success is doing the right thing for the right reason in the right manner. That's what Stephen Covey said. And I would say each one's definition of success is very unique. And again, then a lot of us as entrepreneurs sometimes also look at how big is the company, what is the turnover of celebrity. Those are also important, but they're low down the thing. But to be able to keep all your commitments is very important.
And how amazingly you do all of this. You're always there for people whenever people need you. You are there for your family. I remember last time you're in the Corporate Diva show, you mentioned Saturday, Sunday is my parents. I make sure that whatever it is, I visit them.
It was your book launch was on this Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Just before I came to the book launch, because it was somewhere midway between Delhi and Gurgaon. Sunday is normally to go and visit my parents. This Sunday I'm not going, but I'll do a video call with them. And, But
so this is the basic. These are the basic quality, that health which leads to happiness.
And Sangeeta, you're a parent now. You want time from your children. I mean, right. I keep jokingly saying, I was telling my daughter, who's 17, that when I will make it to her DP, because our dog Sydney has made it to her DP, but I've never made it to her DP. But I look forward to talking to her, spending time with my son. So, my wife also, with my in-laws, just making a call to them. So as you grow older, these things become more, somehow they become, you want them more. As you're a parent, you realize that your parents want your time. They want to talk to you, especially my parents live alone, So, it's just that it gives you happiness seeing them.
It does. I'm the only child, and apparently in Pune, we all live together. My in-laws, parents, me, husband, and my son. And it's like a very different, set. It's very non-hard of, but still, it is so much joy to be around.
Sangeeta, there are lots of families who live like that, and it is a blessing if you all can live together.
It is a blessing, of course. It is a blessing. Yeah. And I've been very truly lucky. Before we move to the rapid fire round, I have the last question for you. I remember you talking on your TED Talk that if you make your hobby as a profession, you don't need to work forever. Life becomes blissful. So my audience would like to know, because they're still struggling to figure out their passion. So how do you know? People say me that, today I find this my passion, tomorrow I kind of lose interest, jump onto something. How do I know what is my passion? One question.
First of all, Sangeeta, it's okay not to be able to find your passion. It's the first goal. I worked, when I left MDI, I joined a real estate services firm, which is again a serendipitous. Then I worked with AMF Bowling, then I worked with HTA. So I didn't find my calling. Only when I started exchanging from media, I started doing content, started doing better. So it's, as they say, Ikigai, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what can get you some money. From a professional standpoint, money is also important for to look after your family. So really, by only trying, you figure out what it is. So it may take you time, but as I said, something you're good at, something that is of value to others and something that people will pay for.
Very, very well articulated.
And you may not find it in the first go, second go, third go, but someday you will find it. Something you enjoy doing, something you're effortlessly good at. So if you enjoy something naturally, then that's your
passion.
That's your calling. And again, there is a theory that you should make your passion your profession. Your passion should be different. So again, really, you make your own rules.
And that's
some rules are universal. But so I think it takes a time. But I would say is go and do a job that you think excites you. Once you do it, you know whether that's it, what you like, and you may continue to grow and expand in that. So only by doing you'll figure out.
Absolutely. I think nothing comes at a package. You have to keep exploring, keep doing what it makes you feel happy, and then go with the right intention, right intent, right attitude. Be kind, grateful, be kind, and do the right thing always. I think that's the.
And don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. We do a lot of things from guilt.
Right.
For example, last night I was feeling guilty. I made calls. I couldn't get beds. And I was not upset, but I was like, I wish I could help. Right. So sometimes guilt. Sometimes when it comes to money, I wish I had more money to give. But that's okay. Make an honest effort. At some stage, it will happen. Keep trying to get that bed for your friend. Keep trying to keep your financial commitment. It will happen. So, believe that the universe is helping you. God is helping you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you get up being happy, and happy mind brings happy people around. Happy mind brings happy customer around. Happy mind creates happy society around. Right? That's the code. Thank you so much. Now we quickly jump onto the rapid fire round. Just a one-word quick answer. So should we start, Anurag? Yeah. Your most treasured moment?
When my daughter was born.
Loved it. Okay. What's your most embarrassing moment?
I'm doing my webinar and on an event that is happening, and somebody will pop up with my Shankar will pop up with my video. So it gets embarrassing, but definitely not the most embarrassing.
I know.
I will come back to it.
Yeah. We keep having so many of them. But anyway, one decision you wish you would have taken or you regret not taking?
Yeah, I don't think about things. And there are things in personal life and professional life. I am doing them better than before.
Yeah.
I still have a long way to go, but I learned from my mistakes, and whether deliberate or just honest mistakes, and I'm trying not to repeat them. And God is helping me. And I believe in giving it your best.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have all been asking me a lot of questions, but one question came. Always people talk about regret in the past. It is not a regret. It's about learning from your mistakes and making sure you don't repeat it, learn from it, and try to become better version of yourself every day, at least by 1%.
Sangeeta, there is a book called The Gifts of Imperfection by Dr. Brené Brown. See, we do a lot of, and it's a research on women. We do a lot of things because of guilt. So, I try to minimize guilt, and it happens through right action.
True.
If I had a 12 o'clock thing, I logged in 12. Maybe I was 30 seconds late, but I did what I need to do before I came to you. Read my newspaper, little relax on Sunday. I had another colleague called Srirupa who's in Bangalore. She used to work with me, no longer work with me in holiday, and she wanted to chat, so I shifted it to 1 o'clock. So there is no pressure. So you do the right things, then there is no pressure. One thing is, I think how you utilize that time is the key. Focus is the key, and self-discipline is the key.
Absolutely. What makes you feel happy, you should do that. And I think one point which I really respect and appreciate about it, Anurag, you make effort to call friends. You make effort to, answer everybody. People get so busy in this, long rat race and, making a living. They forget to make a life, right? And I know friends have been, okay, I'll call tomorrow never comes. I have seen people, sort of losing, they couldn't get up next morning. So value everything.
So you have to, Sangeeta, I also sometimes forget because I have a number of people I deal with, and I write down everything. but you got to forgive them. Maybe they are dealing with something. Don't hold grudges against people.
Absolutely.
If they're not able to call you, maybe they're dealing with something. Maybe their priorities are different. They need to focus on you. Don't know about their life. Don't judge them. And forgive everyone. God bless them. It's okay.
That's the best.
Remind them again. And don't make small things big. Oh, you didn't call me. So what?
So what exactly? They might be occupied.
You can call the person again. And don't feel bad. The person who says I'm busy. It's okay. The person can be busy. The person will call you. So don't make small things big.
This is such an important life lesson. This is such an important life lesson what you're sharing. People have so much of, we hold on to ego. Okay, I called, they didn't call. Just forget it, it's okay. We don't know what's other side happening. We have control on our life. Let's make the moment beautiful. Let's make the friendship alive. Let's be happy ourselves. Let's sort of
and wish good to all, even people who haven't done well to you, who have not wished well to you. Wish them well. Really, they're unhappy. That's why they're doing things. So wish them happiness. And God helps. And there are a lot of people who help you. So focus on those positives. Focus on the positives in your life.
Absolutely. I remember in your TED talk, you started the talk saying traditionally it used to be said, God helps those who help themselves. But I believe God helps those who help others. I really love that, coining word in your TED talk. It is, helping others kind of really goes a long way. Okay. Without much delay, my next rapid fire question. Okay. Going a little off track. What's your favorite actor and favorite actress?
I'm a very big movie buff. People don't know that. Only few colleagues of mine who work long enough. So if I go to Singapore, that people go out to drink and all, I'd like to go and watch it. So but until about 7-8 years back, before I acquired Business World, Exchange for Media was stable, doing well. I would watch between 5 to 7 movies in a week.
Oh my God.
At home.
Okay, I need a one-word answer. It's the last 2-3 minutes of our conversation. One-word answer. Tea or coffee?
See, I drink one coffee and I like my, because I have to lose weight. 7 years back, my nutritional therapist taught me of milk, so I drink my almond milk cappuccino, and I love going to the Fab Cafe.
Next, quick answer. Book or a movie? I know both is your favorite, so if you have to
choose. That's it. If I was saying book or a movie, I would say always a book. But it takes time. A movie is more.
That's
more
why I asked the question.
Yes.
So chat or a phone call?
Phone call, always. I'm a phone call person.
Okay. Mountain or ocean?
Both are lovely, but I would say ocean.
Okay. Favorite place on earth?
So my home is my favorite place. I'm a very big temple visitor. I love going to temples. Last 3 days, of course, I have not visited any temple, not even the neighborhood. So I love going to Shirdi Sai Baba, and there is a Shirdi Sai Baba temple on Modi Road. So I love going there. There are other Ram Mandir next to that on Modi Road. I love going there. So
lovely. Next
time you come temples. I love temples.
Oh, temple. My favorite place too. Next time you happen to be there, I move to Pune and I'll love to meet you here. Next time you plan. Okay, quick answer. Craziest thing you have ever done?
I won't tell you. Otherwise, but
okay.
Well, these days I think some days I get excited and I start walking in the night. I have to stop that, so it will ruin my next day. Because I get ideas, I get up in the middle and go to my study and start with that. Okay. I have minimized to almost 1% from 100, but I still need to. So it's a crazy thing to be awake in the night. It ruins your next day.
Okay. What is the easiest way to make you smile?
Easiest way to
make you happy, make you smile.
I see my children, my wife, my parents,
the family.
If I see them, it makes me smile. And of course, if you get a compliment which you genuinely feel you earned and you deserve, you feel happy about it, whether you acknowledge it or not. Sometimes I'm not able to acknowledge it, but
I know.
Sometimes just taking a compliment is tough, but when somebody praises you for something you really believe you deserve and you earned it, you feel good about it.
And if I switch the question, easiest way to make you really angry? I know you don't get angry that much or make
I
you.
used to get angry a lot, but these days I don't that much. Also I get angry the day I haven't slept well. So, your food is little. So when I've slept well, it's very difficult these days to make me angry. These days, because I've controlled that, because small things don't matter.
Absolutely.
But I'm a perfectionist in work, so sometimes small things irritate me. Not say angry, but they irritate me. But I don't like dishonest people who have only one side of the story or their look. So sometimes I can have a strong reaction. But I've learned not to. I have to tell you a funny story. So, I posted 10 days back or a week back on my NDIGFK, which is about the alumni is more than 12,000, more like 15,000. But on that thread, we have more than 5,000. And I said I want an year who works 12 hours. So people have been giving me yarn. Once or twice I felt a little upset. And I tried to be polite, like I'm not forcing anyone to work. And nobody works 12 hours. It's a way to say that it's a serious job, right? And of course, then there are lots of people who jumped in to help support me, and I'm grateful to them. But I have not learned not to be upset about something. Learn what I need to learn from it. I need to be careful about what I say in public, what I need to say on the mail, how I need to say. I have learned that from that. That's my learning. Clearly, I'm very liberal at work. Well, I want things. I don't check on people's time and all. It's about commitment, because I work 12, 14 hours. The person has to be active.
Absolutely.
And maybe it means 2 years. So, I've learned not to get upset about small things.
Yeah. My last question before I end the session. One thing you do before going to bed. Somebody writes a gratitude journal. Somebody does the meditation. Somebody has a just
One thing I definitely do these days, last 2 years, is keep my phone in my study. Because the day I am awake for 2-3 more hours. I answer someone out today, WhatsApp, then answer, and then it goes on. So keep my phone in the study. Second, I thank God and I pray to God.
Amazing.
I pray to God to keep all of us safe, keep my family safe, help my friends. That's what I say.
Thank you, Anurag. This conversation kind of went for 1 hour. Didn't realize that. It was so insightful. It was so, infectious. I'm sure this message.
Sangeeta, you're being very kind, and kindness is the biggest virtue. So thank you for being kind. And it takes a kind person to be able to make other people smile, and really, I'm grateful to you for the opportunity. And a lot of times I want to turn down because talking about yourself makes I interview a lot of people in my job. I don't know. Then I said maybe there's some good thing I have to offer and I'm able to do it. I don't believe in the word icon. I'm a normal person, being able to do a lot of things well, struggling with something. Hopefully, I'll be able to do them well at some stage. And I've had a full life, a lot of experiences. So I'm grateful, but I'm a very normal person. I try to be even more normal than ever.
That is the more you grow, the more humble you become. That's the true replica by Mr. Anurag Batra. And everything he told right from the heart. I remember during my book launch, he said that, and I wish you, you become the Rupi Kaur of India. I don't know, that message itself, but that's just blessings, genuine blessings, whatever comes from within. That kind of takes a person a long, long way. And I remember the reason the Celebrate of Wings happened also because of Mr. Batra's motivational morning message. And every day I have to look up for the social media. Your one message is to be a lot of people actually look up to.
Can I tell you a story about that? It's such an important part of my day to post those. I promise you, it started like that. I don't know how it started, 3-4 years back. And then I start, people reach out to me saying, almost 1% a day, almost, sometimes 2-3 a day, saying I read that and helped me. So it becomes, I was in Andaman Nicobar in October 2019 for an event, and the phone was not working. There was no connectivity or less connectivity. Right. I couldn't post those, and I felt like fish out of water. Like I've not been able to post because I believe that it's, thoughts help me, words help me. Sometimes, there's somebody saying, "Don't worry, I'm there. I'll help you." There are people like that in my life who help me, and so it is so important for me to post those because I believe even if one person benefit, because I benefit from other people's messages, sometimes I read something. So really it's become part of my daily life.
Yeah, that's the actual message you've always done. If you can just change one person's life, if you can become 1% better, if you can make that one phone call, that's all. Cumulative everyday's life will become some life more meaningful. On that note, thank you, Mr. Batra. Really pleasure. You took that 1 hour time on Sunday, and I really enjoyed this conversation so much. Being my first of this 13 episode series, and thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you, Sangeeta. We wish you luck on your journey of being a host of the show. I'm sure it will do well. And God bless you. And I wish you luck in whatever you do. Stay safe. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.